This is a book review of Horizontal Collaboration by Navie and Carole Maurel. My apologies if I said the name. I love the initial front. You've got the heart there. Just that motif shown all the way through the book, and I think that's quite touching. But then weirdly, you've got on the front, obviously, the French woman, and then you've got the German. And of course, there's this relationship between the two. Anyway, back to the book itself. This is beautifully sewn. I think it's just absolutely lovely. And this is from Korero Press. So I'll show you there, because they brought out a load of books. Sex and horror. They brought a series of sex and horror books out that are superb, as well as there's a book about Paris between the wars, which is absolutely fascinating as well. Now, this book originally was in 2017, French version, Horizontal Collaboration, or I should say Collaboration Horizontale, just to say it the other way around. 2017 by Delcourt. And this one's an English translation by Margaret Morrison. It starts with the story being now. And she's talking about her granddad. Obviously, the woman there starts wistfully looking back and remembering the past. You never fell in love, she says to her grandmother. And she's looking out the window. And of course, then it goes back into the past. And you've got this relationship between Rose and Mark, obviously German. And, well, it's also a little bit more of a flashback before it actually gets to the main part of the story. You've got like Charles de Gaulle there in grey. And you've got this candle being snuffed out. Then it goes to 2 years later. Now, this story, though it's the relationship between Rose and Mark, really only takes really a small percentage of this book. And you've got this, but quite a lot of it is relationships, everyone's relationships. Some that work out, some that are just literally just looking at someone, just being with someone. A relationship that's just as simple as someone just sitting in the courtyard watching someone, and a lovely cat as well. I love cats and seeing. And you've also got other characters. You've got this like old woman here who there's a bit more background to all these characters. They've all it's behind closed doors, it says here, and that's basically the story. There's informants involved. Of course, they're giving information about various Jews that are in the place, supposedly. So they have to, obviously the Germans have to investigate, though that's not particularly done with much zeal, it looks. So it's, but it's absolutely beautiful. The colour scheme all the way through this. And I love this young lad who wants to marry the main character, Rose. Just absolutely glorious. And you've also got like other relationships. You've got this old lady who's obviously in the apartments as well, and the woman that's been cleaning up. And other relationships as well. There's relationships all the way through it. And also, of course, as with most French books, there's lots of people sitting, drinking or eating, and even things like where, I love this bit where she's sort of daydreaming and she virtually goes straight into a car. And everyone obviously go into this park and she's just sitting there. Actually the same scene which we'd seen earlier, but this time in obviously with more colour, more, yeah. And she's obviously smelling a rose, since obviously her name is Rose, not to give away there. But it's just beautiful all the way through. Lots of sadness, lots of unhappiness, lots of love and relationships, and again, lots of drink and lots of eating. I love, there's just scenes in here where you've got, and also lovely lettering as well. I think, to me, I love lettering, typography. So it's got this great, the storm is about to hit. You've got no rabbits. My wife, she's dreary. This guy listens to everything that's happening in his flats, apartments. But you've got scenes here. It's quite dramatic scenes. But again, more scenes, just people sitting around having a cup of coffee, having a cup of tea, etc. in various restaurants, as well as, yeah, and other relationships here. And actually some quite, I'm not going to go show any more because it is an absolutely beautiful book all the way through. Like I say, touched with a lot of sadness and unhappiness, and also a lot of anger. Because if you know anything about what happened at the end of the war with the French and the way they treated, well, there is, and of course you can understand as well. Those things happened. Obviously, but maybe people obviously don't particularly want to talk about them, and you can understand that as well. And this is one of the things I think this book obviously is putting that story across, that about those relationships. There's also some twists at the end as well, and also a lovely surprise at the end, which I think is just a mark of a quality book as far as I'm concerned. I wish more books would do that sort of thing, but it doesn't. They don't generally. So that's a really great feature of this. I love this book. I have to say this is a thoroughly enjoyable. This is one of the books I'm certain I will reread and reread many, many times. Absolutely beautiful. So totally recommended this book. Horizontal Collaboration